Yes, it is. Welcome to another episode of the Ballinesian Podcast here on the Polytickin Network. January is almost done. It's been quite a week, quite a month, but we are here. Islanders talking sports, Charger and Raider fan talking NFL football. Uh, Bunch of Islanders in the news in sports this week, Coach Forrest. But we have to start with your Notre Dame Fighting Irish in the national championship game for college football. Uh, man, you got to walk us through what happened. Down 31-7 at one point, but getting it back to one score in the fourth quarter and fighting back. What does this mean for Notre Dame and for the fandom of the Fighting Irish?
Yeah, Ohio State cheated. I don't know how they did it, but I'm just kidding. uh, it means that they're back at the top of the list with names like Alabama, Ohio State, of course. Anybody who's not saying that Ohio State is the best team in the country right now is delusional. I get it. You're a fan of, especially if you're a fan of an SEC team. There's been a lot of talk about the SEC not being that conference anymore. We didn't see any SEC teams in the semifinals. Oh, actually, no, I'm lying because we had Texas, the newest SEC team.
I was
You
about to
know,
say the new, yeah, exactly.
yeah, they're the new guys there. But yeah, it means that the landscape has changed with the NIL, and Notre Dame's able to keep up now. And that's not just NIL, but that's a lot of credit to their third year coach Marcus Freeman, who took over for um, Brian Kelly, who went over to LSU. He left
Yeah,
with a lot of when he left, he said he was leaving because he chose to go somewhere where he could reach the national championship. 3 years later, hasn't had a team go past 9 wins, hasn't reached the playoffs. Notre Dame with Marcus Freeman in his third year, um, now in the playoffs, made it all the way to the championship game. Um, Came up short, and yeah, so the tables have turned for Notre Dame. Without even talking about any other teams. Recruiting wise, this is going to be really big recruiting wise. The knock on Notre Dame for years has always been that they haven't been able to get elite players come over, like 5-star players.
because those
They've had
teams go into like the
right.
SEC or
A lot of SEC teams you can
Power Fives.
Power Five. This is before NIL. They were just losing out to teams like that. The conference itself. But now that the NIL is there, everybody's losing out to much more heavier pocketed teams. And I'm not saying
Yeah,
this because they won and they beat the team that I was cheering for, but Ohio State has proven that if you shell out the money, you're obviously going to be able to at least compete for it. And they won the championship this year, shelling out. They said just a little bit over $20 million in NIL money. They went out.
Woo!
Yeah, the one
How much?
guy
How
that
much? Do you know how much Notre Dame spent this year on NIL money?
not even close to 20. I think their big money went to their quarterback, much maligned quarterback in the beginning of the season, Riley Leonard, who transferred over from Duke. And I get it. He was like a one season wonder. Came into last year when he played before he transferred to Notre Dame. Had a great like first 3 games. Then they played Notre Dame, injured his ankle, and then was like just on and off the field because of the ankle injury. But he also took Notre Dame to the last part of the string last year during that game. Transfers to Notre Dame, has a tough learning curve because I keep telling people off season counts. If you get hurt and you don't have an off season training with your team or just training alone, you're behind like almost a year, really. You're like behind like a whole year before you get in. So Ryan Leonard was hurt. He wasn't on the field most of the offseason to train. Comes into the season in August, beats Texas A&M, but you could tell he was still rusty. He could run. That's the one thing you can tell is that boy can run for a quarterback. You know, played the second game. Just I don't know what it was, but they lost to NIU. Tough loss. People were getting on him. Just they pretty much blame him for that. And then they just kept winning every game after that, ending up 13-1 before they got to the championship game. And right then it just kept getting better every game, and people were still, well, you can't throw the ball. This team can't get there if they can't throw the ball downfield. You can't have a quarterback rush like that and go to a national championship. Well, ha ha ha,
Yeah.
bitches. But
Well,
yeah, I mean, he'll probably be the most um, standout player you'll see. They played a lot. I'm pretty sure they paid him maybe close to five or a little bit over five.
so it for this, I'm trying to look at front office sports for the looking into Notre Dame's fund, their NIL bank. I think they were a 501c3, but they had to change it to like a for-profit fund recently. But it says I don't know if this is this year or 2024 or the end of 2024, where it says they took in 20 million but paid players 5.1 million dollars.
Yeah,
But
so
now they're going to
uh,
reboot it, and they say that 5 million is just a starting point. But 5 million compared to 20 million, like the
yeah,
players you can get, like
yeah,
the type of players, like how far along, how good they are, that's a pretty start. Like 4 times less money per
definitely.
roster. Do you think college rosters are going to start being kind of like compared by how much money is spent on them? Like if you like per dollar, you can have a small school like Hawaii go far, but they have like a small fund or a small payout
Right,
to
right.
people, maybe only a couple million,
Well, you
versus
saw
like
it.
an Ohio State that pays out $20 million for
Definitely. You already saw it
90
during
players.
the championship game. There were already people saying, well, that's what happens when you can pay out $20 million and then you have a team like Notre Dame who, like you said, probably had a $20 million budget, but only paid out about five. And they were saying, you can still do it both ways, but this is how you win championships. You got to pay, you know. So yeah, they're already comparing them. It's probably going to get worse with the comparisons. Like again, if another team who has, like you just said, has a big budget, makes it to the championship, looks easy to them, and then you have another team like a small school team, we'll use like Boise State because we've seen them come up like that before. You have a team like them come up and not have a big fund, but grind it out like they did all season long behind a really good running back, or and if they reach the championship, people are going to say, if they don't win, people are going to say, well, they had a great season. They grinded it out, but they didn't have the budget to win the championship. I think that's how it's going to be compared in the coming years. So, yeah, Notre Dame also got a big boost. This is another controversial thing for Notre Dame. They stayed independent. So, the way the money works in the playoffs is you get money for each playoff game that you play. Each level that you go through. I think the first payout is like four. All the teams get four when you first reach. Then it's another four. Then it's six, and so it's equaling to like $20 million. But each team in your conference gets this money. You split it with the teams in your conference. Well, Notre Dame's conference is independent. Notre Dame, meaning Notre Dame doesn't have to spend this $20 million with anybody. So making it all the way to the championship game, Notre Dame pockets $20 million to themselves. So
And what is that
the,
money used on? Can that go to players, or is that just for like program stuff, equipment, building the
whatever
school?
the, it's whatever they think the money should go to.
So
It's
players
their
too, they could like give it to
that could go
next
to
year.
that could go. Well, now also because before NIL deals and packages were supposedly coming just from boosters and outside uh, school um, groups. But now that I know they're gonna regulate it, but for right now, schools are allowed to pay students directly now, which is why they have collectives. So yeah, whatever the school is wanting to do with that 20 million. So Notre Dame has 20 million to spend on whatever they want, which is
Good.
added to their collective money.
And that's going to keep them like able to compete and in the playoff, which has been expanded to
Definitely.
12 teams now. What are your thoughts on the playoff? I mean, I know it was beneficial. I mean, it worked out for Notre Dame this year, but overall, like, as like a transparent, equal kind of ranking thing? Did you see any problems with the new 12-team playoff, or anything you
I
liked about it?
I did it because a lot of the guys who are complaining about the 12 team were the guys who were complaining about a 4 team format, saying, "Oh, my team deserved to get in." It has to be more slots for other teams to get in. But then when they made it 12, now guys are like, "Well, the right team didn't get in." No, your team didn't get in. You know what I mean? But if you watched, as I did, every playoff game for the college football championship, the games were great. I mean, yeah, there were probably some games that were like the Notre Dame Indiana game. Indiana, they were outplayed. They weren't. I don't know if they didn't deserve to be there because they played a great season, but they were overmatched in that game. So things like that. You saw Boise State. You kind of it was hard for just Genty to do it on his own in that game. So you'll have easy complaints about that. But I think the 12 team format is good. They might have to look for a better way to get other teams in. But as far as the complaints, like there's a lot of 2 win teams that made it, but there's a lot of two lost teams. There's a lot of 2 lost teams that made it in, but there were also 2 lost teams that didn't make it in, like Alabama, that people were complaining about. So I think it's cool that Alabama didn't automatically get in because they were Alabama with 2 losses, and we got to watch more college football playoffs. You know, I'm such a college football junkie. Like, if you could somehow make it a 64 tournament like March Madness, I'd watch it.
Yeah, every bowl game is now like a playoff game. That'd
Oh
be crazy.
man,
Uh,
that'd be so cool.
yeah,
But
it felt like a
yeah,
lot more playoff game. I mean, obviously more playoff games were happening, but it felt like more must-watch bowl games that affected the
yes,
college playoffs. So
yes,
I'm sure it drew
yes,
more eyes. I'm sure it made a lot of businesses more money. Uh,
definitely.
the
They
college
also
football more money. So I'm
they
sure
made
it's
the
gonna.
big
They're gonna.
bowls.
They're not gonna cut it down. They're just gonna figure out ways to
Yeah,
maybe streamline it and
actually,
bring in more
they
money.
might add 2 more teams in the future,
Damn.
make a 14 team. But I think it also kids don't smoke weed. I was like, I just had the thought when we were talking. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
it's good for college football.
The old school bowls, that like the Sugar Bowl, Orange Bowl, it made them super relevant again. So if you were like an old school dude and you're like, damn, remember when these bowls really used to be like they used to count for something, and if you won those bowls, you were probably going to be close to like fighting for the championship at the end of the season. Well, it's brought that luster back to those bowls. So I know it lasted a couple seasons ago just because we were like, well, whatever. You know what I mean? It's another bowl game, but it's not the championship game. But it's pretty cool to see that Cotton Bowl, the Sugar Bowl's back, Orange Bowl, all bowls that people grew up watching that had championship implications if you played in them.
Uh, yeah, college football is so back.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, if you're a USC fan, I'm sorry, but uh,
Yeah, it's whatever.
no, I'm
It's
just
like
kidding.
no, bro. I feel like such a fair weather fake USC fan because as soon as we lose 2 games, I'm like, all right, well, let's make sure to focus on the NFL. And yeah, so yeah, let's pivot now. Uh, Shout out to Notre Dame. I'm glad you guys made it to the championship. Had a real chance in the fourth quarter to like come back.
Oh man.
That's dope.
So
That's good
what
for.
happened is they got down too early, and you can't get down that early to a team that's as talented as Ohio State. Ohio State has so many pieces. They had
Yeah,
2 amazing running backs. And once you get ahead, you're allowed to run them. Notre Dame also has really great running backs, and I know a lot of people were wondering why they didn't run Jeremiah Love a lot, but it's hard to run to implicate that game plan that they did in that first drive where they just bullied the schmidt out of Ohio State. Like they could not stop Riley Leonard from directly just quarterback dives basically. But once they got down early in the game, um, also Notre Dame was a team that they thought, but once you get down that early, there's no way they can come back because passing wise, Riley Leonard isn't the greatest passer, but him and Great House. Oh my gosh, they put on a show, man. They put on shit. The two catches for touchdowns that Great House made yesterday were probably two of the better catches I've seen. Uh, like in college, they had one where he was the touchdown he caught in the end zone. He had somebody hanging off his back shoulder, and he still caught it. And his words at the end of the game were he's never felt the pain like that before. And the one thing he wants to do right after everybody leaves the stadium is he's going to go right back to work because he never wants to feel that pain again. And as a Notre Dame fan, that's like, oh, I love it. I can't wait to be in the
You like
championship
to
again
have
next
that.
year.
Yeah,
Yep.
you like to have that guy on your roster.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm glad that you had a championship game to like be a part of.
for sure,
That was good.
it was big for me.
All right, so NFL playoffs. The Chiefs advanced to the freaking AFC Championship game for the seventh straight year after beating the Houston Texans. The Buffalo Bills beat the Ravens, and they stopped their like last second comeback. Well, Mark Andrews stopped it. And then on the NFC side in the divisional round, you had the Eagles beat the Rams. Eagles favored by 6.5, and they won by 6.
Hey,
And that's why
shout
I
out
don't bet,
to
because it's like, oh, there's a sure thing.
right, and
Uh,
then
and then 28-22, and I'm like, yeah.
yep. Shout out to Noah and Eddie for having their team win that playoff game.
Yeah. Shout out to Noah and Eddie, all the Eagles fans out there. Lots of Islander Eagles fans now. And then also in the NFC, the Washington Commanders and Jaden
Ooh,
Daniels take down America's team, the number 1 seed Detroit Lions. In kind of like a sad game. I mean, I know we were all talking about like the Lions, it's their year, restore the roar. That's so
no,
cool. Shout out to brother Isaiah, big Lions fan. Man, that was tough to watch. That's tough to go out that way. It feels like the injuries finally caught up, and
it did.
also coinciding with the rocket ship ascent of rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels for Washington. So
Yeah.
those things just kind of at the same time met, and Washington ends this game, 14-point winner after going in there like 8.5-point underdogs.
On a field goal, that man,
What?
just crazy. Just the way they've been winning games is crazy. It's like you're like, oh shit, man, they had a good run, and then at the end of the game, you're like, oh shit, they're gonna win. It's
Yeah,
been
they're just
crazy.
like,
It's
oh, these
been
guys
crazy.
busted them. Jaden Daniels, though, man, we talked about it in the chat. Had that VR training, that virtual reality training that he's been doing since his year at LSU, since his Heisman year at LSU, getting drafted and asking any team that drafts him to use the same virtual reality training technology that he uses. And he basically practices at 1.75 times the speed of a real game. So he's got the googly headset on, and he's back there dropping back and taking, or at least visualizing these snaps at a much faster pace than what's happening on the field. And this guy is just like, he looks 91.8 QBR in a divisional round playoff game, his second win already as an NFL quarterback. He's just a rookie, 22 of 31, almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no sacks, no interceptions. He has not turned the ball over one time in the postseason. Just looks like he knows what he's doing. Also has the defense that keeps them in these games, keeps it close so that at the last minute, the last
Gives them
quarter,
a chance.
Jaden Daniels is like, okay, we need 3 points, bet, got you. We need a touchdown, bet, got you. We need a Hail Mary, bet, got you. We need a doink and a field goal to get, yeah, got you. Just making these things happen. Excuse me. And it just like, I wonder how long until this like German technology or like German made virtual reality technology that conforms to the defenses that you're going to face, that plays at a much faster speed than real time, so that you kind of like, when things are rushing around him, Jaden Daniels does not look rushed. Other quarterbacks, when pressure comes, throws everything off. All the stats go down. Jaden Daniels just moves around. He knows what to expect. He knows where his guys are going to be. And he just always looks pretty calm and I guess poised in these situations. But I don't know. Do you think that technology is going to spread like I feel like every single player, like you need to adapt it for defensive players for different sports. You can, and it's also like visual reps, mental reps too. Like you don't necessarily have to be out there hitting a 7-step drop, trying to launch these bombs with your arm. You can really just kind of do the visualization that I'd say like Michael Jordan did. Like the visualization part was he
Hey,
said a big thing. So I mean,
Michael Jordan was all natural. He never needed VR. Okay.
well, no, he
No, I'm
didn't.
just, I'm
No,
just-
that's the thing. He didn't.
no,
He
yeah.
didn't need VR because he did it in his mind. He imagined himself hitting his shots. He ran through these plays over and over and over before the game even happened. So he like got in hella mental practices too. And I feel like
No, yeah.
that's what's this technology is going to do. And
The
I don't know if
technology,
he like credits just the technology to happening, but he did ask for any team that drafted him to also use the VR tech. So do you
I
think it's going
mean,
to spread or what?
I think it definitely will because there's, if anything about this world that we live in is true, it's a monkey see, monkey do world. So a lot of teams are going to be like, well, shit, if it worked for Jaden Daniels, why wouldn't it work for anybody else? Especially if he wins the Super Bowl or even just gets to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? The technology itself isn't that new. Um, they've been using it in military too. They use it in military practices to train certain parts of like certain elite teams. They've also been using it. I know there's a lot of baseball simulations. They've used VR before, but I'm pretty sure the program itself is new. So I think, like we said in the chat, I think personal trainers are going to start using it a little bit more, like personal coaches, like the one that Russ kept getting in trouble with in Denver. Uh, I think coaches like that are going to start using it first, and then I think once these guys that are using that technology, once they start getting pro jobs, which is always like the next evolution for personal coaches is to latch on to like a professional team. Once that start happening, I think we're going to see it a lot more being used with pro teams, college teams, all the way down into the high school ranks. If anything, I'm excited because my niece is on VR like 24/7, so she might just be the next Jaden Daniels. I'm gonna keep it. But
Yeah.
also, I've seen many Marvel movies, and if it's German technology, be careful, guys, because
Oh no.
Hydra is real. Hydra is real, and we saw it. Sorry, that's
Oh
not the
my goodness! Did you see that? Yo, this fool! Oh my god! You talking about the must salute?
hey,
Bro, that shit
hey,
was so
look,
violently
they
troll. Like, oh
they
my
say
god!
the explanation is it was an old Roman salute,
And
and
someone was like,
historians,
"Where do you think the
yeah,
Nazis got it from?" They were very heavily influenced by the
right.
militaristic Roman Empire.
But also Roman historians are all coming out and like there was no such salute ever in the Roman Empire. Then they were trying to say like he was tapping his heart and throwing it to the crowd.
Dog. And then they played it right next to that like one like far
Oh
right guy doing it in the crowd. Oh my
yeah.
god. I don't know. I have checked out, bro.
All right.
I have so checked out from that. I'm just like, I don't
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring that in. It's not
no,
part of our
that's
show right now, but I thought it was
yeah.
funny.
Oh my
And
god.
yeah, yeah, some of the craziest shit ever.
Okay.
But
uh
yeah, the technology,
he
the
said
technology,
Hydra. Fuck.
the technology will be used for good. We need Steve Rogers.
Did you watch the new Captain America yet?
It doesn't come out till the 14th, fool, or
The
the 13th, I
14th?
think. Something like that, of
February
February.
13th?
Something like that.
January 13th? Because
Nah, is it out?
I
I
think
thought it
it's
was in
out, bro.
February.
I'm scared. I'm scared it's out and no one's seen it.
No, I think it's in
Anyways,
February.
we need to, yeah, we'll talk about
Yeah.
movies later.
No, yeah, but yeah, the technology, man, it's just like you said, it makes your mind move faster and
Mm,
anything, we've seen it before, like when people use technology to train their mind to see things faster, in like psychology or just all the neural stuff that they're doing now in the world. So it's not far fetched to be implicated into professional sports now. I mean, hell, one day we'll probably see guys playing VR from a certain room, and we'll have robots on the field instead of pro players. You know what I mean? I'm telling
Yo,
you,
bro,
you
when that
know,
happens, it's gonna be virtual football. As the guys are
that's what
just like
I'm
in their
saying.
bubbles doing the
Right,
running. Uh,
right.
hey, I
So
mean, as long as I can watch, it's
I
fine.
don't know. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
hey,
I don't know.
no. If they're like accurately just like in some like bubbles or VR, like
Stop it.
laser
Stop it.
tag,
No,
you know,
stop it.
those little virtual reality things at like the Wonderlands. If
Stop
there's
it.
hella guys just in those and
No,
we see like real life football happening,
stop it.
I would rather. I'd feel less guilty about watching these
No.
guys slam their brains away. Anyways, this is our favorite sport. Thank you guys for tuning in. The NFL playoffs advance to the championship round. This is
Championship
where
round.
the money is made. Your trip. This is your chance. Win this game. You punch a trip to the Super Bowl in New Orleans. New Orleans? New Orleans? How do you say it?
Knowledge.
Not yeah, I didn't want to say it like that. So yeah, is that's not even the capital. Baton Rouge is the capital. Okay.
Don't care for me, guys. I'm high. But
New Orleans.
nah.
Yeah, you get to go to the Super Bowl to win a freaking Lombardi trophy. You just gotta win this game. Uh
You know what?
the
Like, for
Bills.
me, it feels like this year that the trophy's, just lost its luster a little bit. I think it'll come back
What?
to me next year when my team is
Has a
actually
chance. Right now you're like titles, rings,
right now.
trophies. How
Boring.
materialistic do you need to be? The Chiefs are in the AFC Championship for the seventh straight
Uh,
year. 7 straight AFC championships. That's great. Like I remember when the Eagles went to 4 straight with Donovan McNabb. I think they had Terrell Owens at the end. Andy
shit.
Reid was their quarterback.
I remember when the Bills went to 3 straight Super Bowls and didn't win one.
Four,
Four,
four.
yeah.
They made the 30 for 30 called the Four Falls.
Bro,
Oh, I thought that
Don
was the
Beebe.
perfect name.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Four Falls.
Don Beebe and Steve Tasker were two of my favorite players ever.
Nice.
Yeah. And they were white dudes. So
And they were white.
yeah, they
Look
were
at you.
man.
You're so
I know.
diverse.
I know, right?
I was named after a white wide receiver. Like, so yeah, I don't know. We're all there.
Steve Largent is the best wide receiver ever.
The best white receiver?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd
Who
put a poll on
Steve
that. I'd go with
bro,
mine. I'd go with Lance Allworth.
no, Steve who the hell no.
Bambi. Yeah, I
But
asked my dad, I was like, what uncle in our family is named Lance? He was like, none. Let me tell you about number 19 for the AFL San Diego Chargers. Or was it Los Angeles Chargers? Yeah. Uh, yeah, so Lance Allworth, number 19. Shout out to him. Hall of Fame,
man,
Pro Football Hall of Fame. And he played in the AFL.
he can never beat you, Lance. He can never beat you.
Oh, I aspire. I aspire to be that good at something. Okay. The Bills head to Arrowhead to face the Kansas City Chiefs. They're like a 2-point underdog. It's supposed to be close, right? But Kansas City is still the favorite. What are your vibes going into this game? Because the last one, the Chiefs, they kind of struggled with the Texans, but like they have all year, got the win. The Bills got in a big fight that culminated with a Mark Andrews drop that could have sent the game into overtime or set up some Josh Allen heroics. There was 90 seconds left if the Ravens would have tied it that game, but they overcome the other big team, the other MVP candidate in the league, in Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Damn! Shout out to Derrick Henry. He's definitely going to be back.
Yeah.
But I thought I was hoping maybe this would be his year and he could like bow out after getting the Super Bowl, but now we have that AFC Championship game. The Bills going to Arrowhead to face the Chiefs, who are always there, who have every advantage, who everyone thinks the refs are even trying to cheer for. They have Taylor Swift. They have Caitlin Clark. They have Jason Kelsey. They have Roger Goodell going up against Watertown, Josh Allen, Bills Mafia. It's going to be a big game. Definitely big quarterback names. There's some defenses that might be underrated. But what do you see? What does this game feel like? What's most important to you going into this?
I was gonna come on here and be like, look, it's ridiculous because everybody's talking about the refs in Kansas City, but we'll stay away from that because that's old talk. It's boring. And if we keep talking about it, it takes away from the game. So I like Buffalo coming into the game. They just played a, like you said, like a fight in a phone booth almost. That's what it seemed like that game was. Um, they just seem like the more gritty team. They got a quarterback who can run you over, run past you, throw it over you, and he's always willing to just take hits for the team. Probably not, practical for their team to win the Super Bowl that he takes too many hits, but they got a running back who was overshadowed for a few seasons by his brother, Dalvin Cook. James Cook now proving that he might be the better Cook. Uh, we'll see. I think we give him another season. I think that proves that he's the better Cook. He's running out there. Another reason a lot of Polynesians are cheering for Buffalo, and I'm one of them. We have Khalil Shakur playing wide receiver for Buffalo. We also have AJ on the other side. You know, get him to a Super Bowl. Love to see that. You know, so I like them going. I like the momentum they have going into this game with the Chiefs. Like you said, the Chiefs have been kind of just a little just just getting by the whole season. Even this last playoff game against the Texans, who probably should have just gotten blown out a little bit. I think looking at personnel on both sides of the ball for both teams. So I think Kansas City. I think their numbers up in this game. I don't think they're tough enough to fight Buffalo. I think Buffalo's built to one of those beat 'em up, shoot 'em out teams
Yeah.
that's going to come out on top. They can come out bloody, they can come out bruised, but they're going to come out on top, standing on your throat. So
I'm worried about what Mahomes does, how he kind of like tries to manipulate the defense to um, really
the
either
late
get the
hits,
oh yeah, the scrambling and the
yeah,
late hits, that's annoying, but he's kind of using it to I feel
to
like I've
his
seen him slide into someone as they were like trying to
for sure,
tackle,
yeah, or just like the
trying to get the foul, like James Harden with the like threes when your
right.
hand is next to him.
Well,
Well,
so the
not
one
anymore,
that
but back then.
they almost penalized Henry Toto is he's
Oh
running out of
yeah, yeah,
bounds,
yeah.
but he slows up right before he gets out of bounds, and
Hmm.
those guys are running full
Trying
speed,
to
so
time it that his foot hits
right.
out of bounds right before he gets hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So they didn't call a flag on that play, thank God.
they should have.
That was cool. And so I go what you mean. Yeah, things like that. And a lot of people will be, well, that should be stopped. Well, it's not. It's part of the rules. And he knows how to, like you said, manipulate the defense so that it benefits him and his team. It sucks to watch, but it's not illegal yet.
Yeah,
They probably should
well,
look into it. But
the quarterbacks are very important.
right,
They have to
right.
protect them. We understand that. But
He's
I mean, that's just like one of the tools. But that's the
right.
annoying thing. That's just one of the things he does, right? Is try to like pick up more
Yep.
yards, get some flag yards, maybe get the defense to slow down enough to get a couple more yards closer to the first down, maybe even pick up a short first down. But it's the other things too, like the freaking he can play, take what the defense gives you. He can play over the top shot. He can play scramble around, let his receivers get open on a second or third move. All those like facets of quarterback play, like sides of the cube there. Not only can he do, he's pretty good at them. He's kind of like Shohei or Mike Trout, like the five tool. He can run when he needs to. He can sit back and pass. He can read, flip the play, run somewhere else. It seems like he's processing and physically able to kind of get the best of a Buffalo defense that. I mean, we're talking about what happened earlier in this season. Buffalo beat them by 2 scores by
Yep.
9 points,
Yep.
right? Uh, so is there anything too different from that? Should they just use the same game plan? Buffalo's defense is like keep the top on it, right? Don't let anybody get too far down. Don't get anybody
Right.
too far down crazy hole shots.
But
They
that's
just force you to can you march down? Can you take the 5 yard
right.
out? Can you take the run when you need to? Can you just piece your way downfield? Hoping that you eventually, throw an incomplete pass, have a tackle for loss or something, put you in second and long, third and long, punt, right? making you be a good quarterback. The problem is they're going up against a really a great quarterback in
The
Patrick Mahomes.
best,
So
the best in the
when
league.
and it's the playoffs, right? And the Bills always beat the Chiefs in the regular season, but end up losing in the playoffs.
Playoff Kelsey.
Playoff Kelsey is alive and rolling. Oh my goodness. This
Telling you,
looks like a man that wants to be there, is enjoying himself. And this is exactly
might
what,
be his
like you
last
said,
one. He might be fighting for his last one.
I think he
So
should have. Yeah. I maintain that he wanted to retire last year, but had to come back for the three-peat. Wanted to retire with
definitely
his brother. Look at
with
his
his
brother.
brother
Jason Kelsey is freaking honorable.
is
He has a
loving it.
late night show on ESPN.
I
The
mean,
face of Campbell's Soup's Big Boy rebrand.
wasn't his fault either, but the only dust up he's had so far is breaking some kid's cell phones that deserved it.
Oh
By the
yeah,
way,
yeah. So I mean, yeah, don't mess with the Kelsey. Travis, Killer Trav wants
yeah,
to go freaking on the road, hang out, and
definitely.
not be taking these hits. But
Buffalo doesn't want the shootout. They don't want the shootout, like we just said. They want that barroom brawl. That's what they want to be in. They don't want a dusted up cowboy kind of shootout where Mahomes is just slinging it all over the place downfield. And right now, um, KC's not that. They don't have that Tyreek Hill dude. They do have Nuke. They do have Juju, but they're not in that throw it over the top. I'm gonna go get it part of their career anymore. The what is the rookie that they have? That's their actual deep threat.
Xavier Worthy, the fastest person to ever run the 40-yard dash in the NFL combine.
Xavier Worthy, right? They do have him, but again, he's not as polished as you want him to be. You don't have to be too
Sure,
polished to be like,
sure.
hey, throw it downfield, I'll run after it.
Well,
But they're not that team anymore, so
and
I
they
think
were
that benefits.
using him. They were using him as like the guy that had to do all the speed stuff. But now that
Right?
Hollywood Brown is back, they're free to use their rookie more as like a gadget. Hey, run
Yeah,
this like gonna be wide open wheel route, or
yeah.
get this short screen
The
and try to
screens,
go
yeah.
down.
Try to
But
get
they
it
can
through.
use Hollywood Brown, who they also
Mhm.
have. Jesus, so can you imagine Hollywood if they had Rasheed Rice too? Rasheed Rice, they probably would have traded for Hopkins. Rasheed Rice, Hollywood Brown, Juju, Travis Kelsey, Xavier Worthy. Oh, like 5 tight ends, 5 white tight ends. That was a lot of work. Okay, yeah. But go ahead. All right. So the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, okay. I placed a bet on this game, right? Uh,
What you did?
so I wanted to pick both the Bills to win the point spread, but
And the game?
no, but the Chiefs to win the game, right? And when I placed this bet, like I think it was Monday morning or Sunday night or something. It was Bills plus 1.5, right?
Oh wow.
So I picked Bills plus 1.5, but the Chiefs win the game, right? So what I'm rooting for, the only way for this bet to cash is for the Chiefs to win by 1 point. All right. So the Chiefs win by 1, 7-6, 34-35, 40-41, whatever it is. And I turned $5 into $160. And the way
That's a
that I
turnover.
convinced myself to do it, other than the like, 160 for 5, is it's gonna be. It's been people have been missing field goal attempts. People have been missing PATs. It's a
That's true.
hot, and
That's
I
true.
imagine the Chiefs somehow winning this game, even though it's like it's going to be super close at the end, and something's going to happen where they just do enough to kick a field goal. But the score has to be wonky, so it might be high scoring with the Chiefs just pulling it out on a field goal or some defensive stop. Uh, yeah, so that's what I'm hoping for. The outcome is for the AFC Championship. I'm also hoping for the Bills to win, but if the Chiefs win by 1, I'm going to catch a bet.
Hey,
So
nothing wrong
yeah,
with that. Nothing wrong with that.
that's full. So that's why I did that, because the Chiefs, the Chiefs win. At least I get a piece of that if they win by 1. But hoping for a really good game there. Any predictions for that?
Man, you know what? I think it's gonna be a really close game. I think it's whoever's gonna win is gonna be by a field goal. And I think Buffalo's better built to win a game like that.
So you lean Buffalo, but whoever wins, it's going to be 3 points or less.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like a 4 point, got to score a touchdown.
Nah,
It's going to be like a
nah.
field goal or a missed field
Yeah,
goal.
yeah.
I like it. Yeah, pressure. I watched the Bills win by like 20, and then we get to laugh at the Chiefs for the first time in 8 years.
Oh my gosh.
Man, they just picked the right quarterback. They traded up for the right quarterback, and it's just been, well, I guess Steve Spagnuolo too with the defense, but Andy Reid, I don't know.
It's
I
funny
don't
because
want
you
to give
don't
them
really look
anyway.
at their defense like every time you watch it, like because people do score points on them, but somehow their defense always finds a way to make like the winning plays. So you're like, man, at least I am conflicted when I watch their defense because it's like I just
Appreciate
said,
it, but hate it.
because you're like, man, what this score just scored like 28 points, and then you're like, but they still won, because they made the plays, because they made
Yeah.
the winning plays, and that's what counts when winning time comes around is if you make winning plays. So yeah, I mean, I guess Spagnola's, I guess he's a pretty good defensive coordinator, and I'm not saying that because the Raiders just requested to interview him for the head
Hey,
coaching spot. So yeah, we'll see.
I'm very interested to see. There's some crazy coaching carousel things
Yeah, I
that are
like Pete
happening.
Carroll.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that in the chat. Pete Carroll would be like the right
His name,
move, like taking your vegetables, like eating your
yeah,
vegetables. Like doing the what you need to do to get a
he's
culture
at the
change and to bring guys that
he's
play
at the
hard.
top of the list now that Ben Johnson is signed with fucking Chicago. No, with
The
Chicago.
Bears.
Yeah, hey, Caleb Williams is always going to be that enticing piece for any head coach,
Hmm.
especially since he's fresh. He'll be in his second year next year, so but we'll
I
have plenty
saw,
of time to talk about that later
yeah,
when next season comes around.
I saw Ben Johnson's like intro talk, not his press
Uh,
conference. He like lined up in the facility and he was talking to the workers,
oh
people in the
wow,
office and
nice.
stuff, and he was like, "Yo, it's all we do is support the people in the locker room, okay? And it's gonna take each and every one of us." It was a really good speech. His family was there, his wife, 3 kids, and everybody cheered on. I know it was like when the new
Right,
coach comes in, everyone's hype or
right.
whatever, everyone's
And
positive, but
the rest of the year, you'll never see
downhill.
him. You'll never
Yeah,
see him.
yeah, no, but that's exactly right. Got to make that good first
Yeah.
impression. So I think that was good. NFC North, three playoff teams and 3 losses, no wins. They were all taken out either in the divisional round or the Lions after coming off a bye in the divisional. Sorry, the other
No.
teams lost in the wild card round. Lions in the divisional after getting that bye. Uh, and moving on to the NFC Championship round are the Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Washington Commanders. Eagles are now favored by 6 points, another 6 point spread. Uh, we talked about Jaden Daniels VR training. We know about the Eagles. Uh, is there anything you can think of that all 4 of these kind of Final Four teams share? I was thinking offensive and defensive lines are really good. Just something obvious to build through the trenches. Uh, the Eagles, both sides. Eagles on the offensive side, Jordan Mailata, I think he was the #1 ranked left tackle in PFF this last week.
Oh, hmm.
Um, or for the season that I saw this last week. They got Lane Johnson, they had Jason Kelsey. They're able to have like a good continuity at
I
that
mean,
line,
I
even
can
after
see
losing an
why
all pro like Kelsey.
when Saquon had was it a 70-yard run? Jordan Mailata didn't block anybody. He kind of just stood there. Like, well, he didn't need to, but it was like, no wonder he has a high PFF.
People run away from him.
He didn't have no one to block, and they still made a 70-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
So
And then the Eagles also have that defensive line: Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Zach Bonds in the middle of
they do.
that.
I mean, you can say that there's in the middle of each defensive line are big guys there, like you said, Carter. The Buffalo Bills have Ed Oliver.
Mm-hmm. A
Um,
really good offensive line. The
right.
Chiefs have all pros at the
They
guard
have Chris
spots,
Johnson.
center
Yeah.
and defensive line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then you
and
have the Commanders.
Jonathan Allen. Those guys. Two really big defensive tackles there. So um, I think that could be something all 4 teams have in common.
Uh,
Um,
the Commanders have lost their best offensive lineman, Sam Cosby, ACL tear in the last game. So they're going to
ooh,
be down.
that's tough.
And I wonder, is that going to be the thing that kind of falls apart for Washington? One of their best offensive linemen. Like if you went into a conference championship game, with only 1 week to prepare to replace him. Hopefully you do have a good backup, but I mean, even coaching up someone to be ready for that, to be ready for some of the best I don't know how that's going to work.
Definitely, I think these days though, a lot of coaches they'll play their backups like during the season
Mhm.
for moments like this, like not like before where you had your solid starting five and you would just kind of play them throughout the season, hoping they didn't get hurt. Now you have a lot of utility linemen who can play anywhere from left tackle to right tackle on the interior, and you kind of plug them in during the season so that when things like this happen, you have a guy who's not like really fresh out there, like hasn't played all season or doesn't know the schemes or is going to be fresh to the schemes out there, game speed as well. So I mean, teams are doing a lot of different things these days. So when injuries come up like that, still really big because you can't ever devalue your starter, especially the trust that he has with his quarterback. But I don't think it's as dire as it was a few years back because yeah, a lot of these guys do get playing time during the season. They got a lot of reps in practice now because of things like this. The
Yeah.
worry that coaches have that someone's going to go down, and there's just a lot of nagging injuries. You know, we've seen these days that guys take off time now to actually heal up. Not like before, people you just would play through injuries and just get worse injuries. But now you can have guys sit out practices
True.
from like as long as you're practicing from like a limited practice on a Thursday, a full on Friday, the league allows you to play on Sunday. So you know,
Yep.
but we'll
Uh,
see.
yeah. So we're gonna see Commanders at Eagles. It feels like the Eagles have the better roster, are supposed to win, like the better players, the more experience. They've gone to a Super Bowl, they've gone to the NFC Championship before. And the Commanders are led by a rookie, a special rookie. When we talked about his training and what he's done this year. Other rookies that have gone to the championship games, Ben Roethlisberger, um, dang it, Mark Sanchez, Joe Flacco.
Names that don't excite me much, but thank you for bringing them up. No,
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
yeah. I was like, oh, that's up on the list. But none of them winning a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So this is I don't know. I feel like Jaden Daniels is doing some crazy stuff, but he just
Definitely
lost his best guard. It's going to be a different game versus these Eagles that are more experienced. But
that D
I feel
line.
like either way, I'm going to lose whatever I pick because it's going to be obvious after. It's going to be either, yeah, of course the Eagles were so much better. They got Saquon this year. It really unlocked everything. Or it will be, yeah, of course Jaden Daniels beat the Eagles on the last second drive or, took a 2-score lead or something crazy like that
Right.
that no one even expected. So, yeah, I don't know what to pick here. Any predictions for this game or actually before we do predictions, the Eagles, are they still having problems? Are the vibes still off? Are they still mad that Jalen Hurts isn't passing enough? What does he have, like
You
120
know,
yards last week?
you know what helps when problems like that come
Yeah,
about, and then you get late into the season. You know what helps? Winning.
winning.
Yeah. So it's like you gotta just it. I don't know I don't know Jalen Hurts personally. I don't know AJ Brown personally, but you get this far into the playoffs, and you're thinking, well, we're winning. Let me put all this shit in a box and I'll save it for the
Yeah,
off season or where we lose if we
that's
end
why I
up
like
losing
when
somewhere.
teams lose and that stuff hits the fan.
Right,
You're
right.
like, I knew it. I knew you were just
Yeah.
playing because
Because
you don't want to
Sirianni,
complain while you're winning.
no, yeah, Sirianni is still the asshole that he is. He's such a child. Uh,
He's kind of
but
douchey. I don't know.
yeah, super
What is?
douchey, super
I don't like
douchey.
him either.
But yeah, the team, that. And when you hear about like players only meetings, you hear about those, but you don't hear about like these guys meeting outside of the locker room. I know these guys get together. I mean, if you ever played sports, there's been times where you guys just kind of hang out somewhere. Everybody just comes together, hang out, and you kind of just tuck those things away for like you said later. We'll talk about this shit later. Let's go out and do this shit. Let's go win these games. Let's try to make something of this, no matter what's going on. Jalen Hurts not having that many passing yards. That's like I didn't expect him to throw for 300 yards anyway. Because he's
Okay.
been this is me being a hater because I had Saquon on my fantasy team, but he's been stealing touchdowns from Saquon all year long. So, but that's how their offense works. If he's moving his feet, if he's getting out of the pocket, if he's extending plays or um, converting third downs with his legs, that's fine because that's how they win. And then you just let Saquon do all the heavy lifting, running. That works. It's been working for them when they've been winning all season. When they've been losing, it's when they've been stressing themselves out on their own sideline. So AJ Brown's been quiet. That's good for them. That's the one guy that they've always been vocal about how unhappy he's been. You don't have Graham telling people's business anymore in the media when he wasn't supposed to. So yeah, I think they put away their differences enough to get to a championship, conference championship, and they got one more game to go. So if you have problems now, you're doing a really good job of hiding it. So super cool.
Brandon Graham early in the season went on an interview and was talking about AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts used to be friends, but they're not friends anymore.
Right.
Yo, shut the fuck up, veteran.
Right.
What are you doing right now?
Why?
Are you drunk? Is this freaking drink champs? What are you doing? Yeah, that was wild. But I think ever since then, and everyone already doesn't like Sirianni, so I was hoping the Eagles have like a reset year this year, just so they can get rid of their coach and start with somebody that like we could stand. But they're in the NFC Championship game, and that's going to go under the coach, right? If they get to the Super Bowl, that goes under the coach, right? So it's just like I think we're stuck with this guy. I don't even think Eagles fans like this coach, but I don't know. Get those problems sorted out. Get a handle on your stuff.
I do believe Washington. When I say they're hype, I don't mean it like in a bad way, but all the hype that they're coming in with is coming in with their new coach, who's been so good with the team, the way he's connected with the team, the youth movement that has been shot into Washington has been a good mixture with the veterans that they went out and got to help these younger guys, Bobby Wagner, Eckler, guys like that. They still have Scary Terry out there. That's a good mix of veteran to like young guys. They went out and got Frankie Louvu, ended up picking up Latimer late in the season, making really great moves that's pretty much moved them all the way to the conference championship. So yeah, we'd like to praise Jaden Daniels for everything he's done this season because it's been amazing. Nothing short of amazing. A rookie taking his team all the way to the conference championship, but there's been a lot of key moves that they front office made. Coaching has been really great. So I like their vibe. They're young, they're exciting. They've got guys already planning to try to move over during the offseason to play with them. We had guys in the season trying to get traded over to Washington. So that's a big momentum for them. They're just gonna have to overcome. I think that D line for the Eagles is just they're such a menace to offensive lines. They are without N'Kobe Dean at linebacker. Um, I said it all year long. I feel like although their DBs are really great, I think that's the weakness to the defense. And a quarterback like Jaden Daniels, I think he can exploit those guys because they're young too in that backfield. So the defensive backfield for the Eagles, I think that's where they get exploited. But if that D line, if they just keep doing what they've been doing all season for the Eagles, I do believe they're on top. They come out on top. But if we see the Jaden Daniels we've seen all playoff long, smooth, calm, collective, that gives Washington a chance for sure.
I'm hoping Washington continues on, but I'm
Definitely.
kind of worried we're going to get a Super Bowl with no passing yards.
Hey,
if Jalen Hurts goes there, and I'm like, I want fireworks. I want fireworks in the big game.
Like Coach Quinn said, man, you got a team of ooses.
Hey, we got a team full of ooses. Shout out to Frankie Louvu, Mariota, everybody over there for the Commanders. Yeah, this run has been insane. And I think a lot of people attribute it to that defense keeping them close, and then definitely Jaden Daniels being a rock star his first year.
Yeah.
Any predictions? How do you think this game is going to go?
Man, I think it's gonna be another. No, honestly, I think the Eagles might be a little too much, man. Just with Saquon, just I think he continues on being the best running back we've seen in a long time. I think he's with all the other running backs behind him and his season, the way he's having it, single-handedly revitalizing the running back position. You know, so I like the Eagles by like about, phew, by at least a touchdown. I like the Eagles by at least a touchdown.
Nice. Yeah, they're -6 in this game. So I tried that same bet, picking the Commanders spread with the Eagles
And
winning.
Eagles winning.
But since it's 6 points, it's only like 3x, right? It's
Uh,
$5 to win 20. Um, yeah, it's a much more possible outcome than the Chiefs
right.
winning
Then
by
Chiefs.
just
Yeah.
one by 1 point. So,
I mean, did you try it the other way around?
oh, well, the other way around would be Eagles covering, so that means Eagles winning. There you
Uh,
talking about? Yeah, because if
yeah.
you take the Eagles winning by 6, then you can't take the Eagles winning outright. They
Don't
like
mind me,
they
bro. I'm not good at math.
I no no no. I'm just
I'm
like
just kidding.
it's fine. Yeah, it's already baked into the point spread. All right. Yeah, I got Eagles. Nah, man, I got
It's
Commanders,
tough.
bro. I got the Commanders in
Yeah.
this one.
I
I
mean,
just think there's something. It's going to be tight the whole way.
I think
Uh, Dan
man.
Quinn, the defense is underrated. People think it's all Jaden Daniels. Me too, but
No,
like
their
the
defense
way
is
their defense is like,
yeah. They
and
fire. They fire out all the time. They
yo,
go 100% every time. They're
keep
just
Frankie moving forward,
oh
let
my
Bobby
gosh.
zone, and just let them keep destroying. And then you
That's what
get a
I'm saying.
lead, for the Commanders, and it's freaking over.
Just let
Yeah, the
Frankie hit
defense is going to step
everybody.
up. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. And
Just
if Jalen Hurts throws an interception and he tries to tackle the guy, have Frankie knock him in the face, bro. That shit, yo, Jared Goff got rocked.
they
And it
had
was
people.
not the
The
same. Yo,
comments.
he was
You
walking
read the
by
comments
Dan
were
Campbell like,
wild,
I'm
bro.
good.
Right.
I'm good. He's like, why are you talking in slow motion then, dog?
Bro,
Uh,
the comments were it's so funny. Frankie got so much hate for it. It was crazy,
I
bro.
get it. I get it. In
Sorry.
slow motion, yeah, you saw the face mask at the other face mask. So even I think the ref in the broadcast booth during the game was like that should have been a penalty and not like a turnover, but not a touchdown.
Oh well.
Yeah, but I was like, the extra points already been kicked, dog. I don't.
Right, I know.
That's
I know.
history. That's history now.
Next
Uh,
play.
what Super Bowl matchup do you want to see the most? Do you want it to be Bills Eagles, Bills Commanders, Eagles
Oh
Chiefs,
man,
Commanders Chiefs? Which of those four possible matchups do you
man,
think would be your favorite?
because me and the Brody support each other so much, man. For Noah, I would love to see the Eagles and Buffalo, but if I had to go with some, I want to see Frankie get to his first Super Bowl.
Mhm.
So I'd love to see Washington and Buffalo. In no way in hell do I want to see the Chiefs. I don't care who's playing
Yeah,
the Super Bowl.
it's like we're
I
AFC
don't care.
West
Yeah,
followers
there's no
here
way.
and not Kansas City teams.
There's no
Yeah,
way.
the
Yeah.
Bills have that tortured history, right? The Commanders have that history, and it hasn't been recent. Dan Snyder took over the team, destroyed it. Soon as he leaves, Patrick Ewing theory, everything has been fixed now. The team is now up in the playoffs. They are making a run. And yeah, like you said, we don't want the Chiefs three-peating. I don't want Patrick Mahomes gaining any more ground in front of any of the rest of these contemporaries, Justin Herbert included.
Well,
We've got a long way to go, but I'm like, don't need to give him another championship and a
yeah,
three-peat. That's like forever in history. Your names are entrenched
yeah.
there. So I'd rather do without that. They've already got enough of a head start on the rest of our franchises right now. So
Amen.
definitely would like to see Josh Allen and the Bills taking on the Washington Commanders in the Super Bowl. The Eagles are cool, but the dysfunction, I know it's personal. People are like, oh, why you? That's not professional. It's not professional. It's personal. I don't like the Eagles
Right.
coach.
If you want
I
to
like
be that
the.
professional, make your own show.
Yeah, no, this is just, I can't step off of this. Sirianni talks trash to other players, talks trash to fans. Seems like kind of a jerk. I'm sure there are people out there that are like, he's actually a really good family man. I don't care. I
No,
just
I
know
don't
what I've
care.
seen.
Yeah,
I
right.
know I've seen Jalen Hurts have to like hold his coach's middle finger, pull it down, and shake his head. Coach, don't do that. Like it's stuff like that. You see enough of that, and it's just.
Yeah.
But I love the rest of the Eagles roster. Jalen Hurts, underrated. Saquon Barkley thrown away by the Giants. Jordan Mailata, number one. Yeah, so you want to see the Eagles in that collection, who they've worked hard, advance to the Super Bowl and get it. But I just feel like the
Yeah, do they still
Commanders.
have Marlon Tuipulotu? Is he still on the?
I think he changed. I feel like I've seen him on a different
Oh,
team.
that'd be
But
cool to see Tuipulotu also out there.
yeah, uh, yeah. So seeing the Commanders and the Bills, I feel like would be uh against something I personally don't want with Sirianni or the Chiefs, but also a more exciting, more offensive, more fireworks
It
kind
goes
of
against
Super
all
Bowl.
my football beliefs.
Yeah, Eagles and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl is probably what we're going to get, but I want the exact opposite. I want to see Josh Allen and Jaden Daniels duke it out in like a 80-point Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? I want to see fireworks. So that's what I'll be pulling for in my heart. Let us know what you guys think, who you guys think is going to win, who you think would make a better Super Bowl. Um, and let's get ready for championship weekend. And then we're going to be able to do 2 weeks of prep before 2 weeks of shows before Super Bowl. We should do something big. But yeah, do it better or watch or a live watch or something. We'll figure it out. If you have any suggestions, any shout outs, community bulletin, birthdays, freaking letter to the editors, send them in. Ballinesian@gmail.com. DM us at Ballinesian on Instagram, on TikTok, even for however long that's reinstated. Oh man, that was like a funeral in our house. Timmy was like,
Bro,
no, it's gone. It stopped updating. And then the next day, it was like, shout out to President Trump for reinstating our app. I was like, oh, are you going to say thank you to Trump? And she said, no. Oh, God.
yeah, fuck.
That's hilarious. Just wild. Happy MLK Day
Yo,
to
yo,
everybody. January is almost over. We got President's Day next month. What other man? And then it starts warming up, bro. We're already about to be spring. There were some cold nights and stuff this
Lance,
winter, but it's been
Lance,
chill.
we live in the PNW. Stop lying to people. It's not gonna get warm.
It's gonna be like
No, it's
the
not.
low
Stop
is
it.
gonna be
No,
42, and I'm gonna be
shut up.
outside all the time. Yo,
Don't don't
40,
have me.
50
Don't get my
degrees
hopes up.
in
Don't
February is a lot
don't
different from 50 degrees in
no.
October.
It's gonna be March and we're still gonna be at like 24 degrees.
Bro, I've been walking in the middle of the night, and it's been clear. We haven't had a lot of rain here in Portland, so
Where the hell are you going at the middle
no
of the night in this
cloud.
weather? What's
I
wrong
just
with you
I'm
in this cold?
No,
You're
it's
crazy.
cold. I like just put on two sweaters and like tie a
No.
towel around my neck so the sweat doesn't pool up there, and then it just like hit the trail, bro. And I just walk around
Our
this
people
block.
are tropical, my guy. There's no way.
I'm saying that's why I got to wear two sweaters, two sweaters and a high visibility jacket just to be safe. Safety first.
Bro, so my room, uh, shout out before we get to shout outs to again my
We can
sister
do
and my
shout
brother
outs.
in law for purchasing their first home again. I know I mentioned it before, but
Hey,
so my
that's
room
big.
now, yeah, it is. It's on the second floor and it overlooks like the front of the house. And every morning I wake up, I look at the cars downstairs and they're all icy. The grass is frosty. I'm like, I'm just gonna go back to bed. This constitutes going right back to bed.
Frost? Ew.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it's like
gosh.
crystallized windows, but not like hard frost, cold, any
Right. I was talking to
precipitation,
Noah.
ice.
Noah said that he saw it might be snowing for you guys out there next week. So
Oh man, I'm gonna have to hit him up. We gotta go golfing before that happens. It's been
yeah,
crazy, man. It's like cold and maybe a little bit of wind, but no rain, so it's like bearable.
right. It's
It's like
bearable. Yeah,
you just gotta be wind protected and cold protected,
it
and you
is.
can
It's
just go out and
also
do whatever.
it's also getting darker just a little bit later. Before it was like about 4:50 and it'd be almost pitch black. Now we can get about to about 5:20. Get to about
Yeah, more
5:20.
time. Yep.
Right, right. because whoever made up daylight saving time, smoking crack, uh, I hate you. But
For the farmers, man.
yeah,
For our beans
okay,
and potatoes,
sure.
wheat. He says,
But
sure.
sure,
Shout
okay.
out to Benjamin Franklin. Shout out to time zones. Shout out to sunset being later and later every day. There's like a certain point in January or December where it's like, this is the earliest sunset will be the entire year. And then every day
Right.
after that, it's like plus 2 minutes, plus three
Yeah.
minutes, plus three
Yeah.
minutes. And it's
I
by the
love
time
it.
it's summer and we're outside at 9 o'clock and it's still the sun setting, those are my
Yeah.
favorite, bro. Summer days are great up
10
here.
o'clock sunsets are the best.
Woo! Let's go to
Yeah.
Alaska, have that all day sun.
Yeah, okay, no,
No,
not that.
thank
No,
you.
no,
any
no.
other any other shout outs for you?
Man, shout out to a friend to the show, but a friend to us as well. A friend to Levasa, PD Toyolo. I've been
Hey.
following the story. He's been him and a couple of his friends. They've loaded up a U-Haul with supplies and donations, and they've driven it down to LA to help with the fires. And they're out there right now, just you know, doing what they
Nice.
can to help. They took a U-Haul full of supplies down there for people, and they're just helping out there. Also, PD's he's a trained fireman. He fought
Mhm.
one of the wildfire firefighters, and he was doing that. He's still a certified firefighter, but he's really gotten into his photography and videography, uh, that part of his business. And man, check it out, man. The Living Room Media, uh, PD, just amazing, man. Shout out to you, man. He's doing great stuff out there. So shout out to him, man. Shout out to my nephew again, um, Leonidas Valhusi, a 6 foot, 235 pound, 13-year-old who is just playing in Vegas and Arizona for the JPS. I don't know what division it is, but he plays for the Benson Bears, who are number one in their division on the West Coast, and he's out there representing their team in the All-Star tournament. They just won the tournament. They won their three
Hey.
games. Him and his O line, they look like a varsity O line, and none of them are freshmen in high school yet. So they look great. They won games there. Amazing. And then shout out to all the Polynesians who've been playing lately in the NFL playoffs, been
Mhm.
playing in the college football playoffs, championships. So good to see names like my personal favorites who play for Notre Dame, uh, Casey Viliamu Asa, KVA as they know him, and social media. Man, a freshman, probably the best linebacker last year, signing with Notre Dame. Just he's playing lights out as a freshman. Good to see. Um, JT out at Ohio State, who's winning a championship from out here in Washington. Tui Morel, man, big for him because he might be entering the draft, so his stock should rise significantly. It was already high, but he had such a great championship game, so shout out to him. Frankie Louvu, Jordan Mailata that we see again, Shakira, who's playing in Buffalo, AJ Epinesa, who's playing out there in Buffalo. We had guys like Jalen Warren, you know, just just a great bunch of Polynesians right now playing in both the college and pro ranks. There's so many I haven't named that played in the playoffs this weekend, throughout the week with the college football playoffs going on. So shout out to you guys, man. Love to see it. That's what the show is founded on, just seeing all
Mhm.
these guys out here. So it's great to see. Great to see. We haven't even gotten into like women's basketball because there's a ton of those women out there, Pacifica women playing college basketball right now and pro basketball. So great to see. I love to see it. It's why I watch sports right now. So one of the biggest reasons I watch games that no one else is watching, or just try to look for, you see a name like that on a jersey and not just get stuck on ESPN. Like even if it's like softball, not that softball is not fun to watch, but if I don't know you on the team, but I see a last name all of a sudden flashed on the
Mhm.
camera, I'm like, oh shit, let me watch this for a little bit.
Let's go that
Pretty cool.
team. Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly. I mean,
Because
if I was
instant
flipping
fans and
through,
supporters.
right, if I was flipping through ESPN and Fox Sports and I saw somebody playing horseshoes and they had a Samoan last name, I'd watch the horseshoe
I've
competition,
learned how to play horseshoes
or
right there.
yeah, or cor- bro, the day I saw they had cornhole championships on ESPN, I was like, wow, we're really not in
Anything is
football and basketball,
possible.
right? I was like, we are far from NFL and NBA and college seasons, are we? So, but yeah,
Sports.
shout out to
Sports.
all the Pacifica people playing couple
Making us
this past
proud, bro.
couple.
It's
Yeah,
so proud
man.
to see.
This week, and we didn't talk about it, but we're gonna talk about it. The Polynesian Bowl, seeing that grow. Shout out to all the
Yeah.
promoters of that game. The game has grown so much. I mean, I remember before you were just looking for just hoping that the top Polynesian kids would go to these bowl games, not just the Polynesian Bowl, but like Samoa Bowl. Trying to
Mhm.
get them to come to the game and shed light on the culture. And now you have like 5-star athletes who aren't of Polynesian or Pacifica descent playing in these games, bringing light to it. As a USC fan, not me, it was cool to see like Husan Longstreet, who's the 5-star quarterback that USC signed this offseason. He's committed to play at USC, signed and everything. So no flipping. Good for
Nice.
them. He's signed. He's out there playing ball, and so it's amazing, man. Just how far
The
that
Heisman Trophy winner was there. Travis Hunter.
Yep, Travis Hunter. He was
He
there
played in the
last year,
game. He
yeah, a
played in the
couple years
game
ago,
4 years
playing
ago.
in the game. So yeah, man, great to see, man. Uh, Hopefully one day we'll see like Hawaii have a NFL franchise. That'd be dope.
Bro, they're expanding. They're doing so many international games.
Yeah,
Germany.
exactly.
Yeah. So the eventually we're gonna get something like that. But the time zone, I feel like the time zone is the only thing.
Yeah,
They're gonna have to play games there at like
well, they'd probably be
9
located in like
a.m.
it definitely I
local
think would
time.
be they'd have to buy like land in like LA or somewhere in California and probably
Huh?
play their home games there. You know?
Oh,
Yeah.
well then it would like be another LA.
Hey, look, we just need the name right now.
Um, that's no, yeah. If they, yeah, I would not mind a freaking NFL team and playing out of Hawaii.
That'd be cool.
All right, yeah. Shout out to Levasa Island Apparel. Brother Uri, definitely check them out at le_vasa on Instagram. Put on for the culture and catch the wave, Levasa Island Apparel. Also online at www.levasaislandapparel.com. For the Polyticket Network, definitely follow us. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the audio streams. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Polyticket Network. Follow us on the Patreon. You can support that way. You also have the other shows that we do, Pacifica Movie Starter Kit and the Polyticket Podcast. So yeah, and we're hoping to do some more figure out other tiers or more content
Hell yeah.
next month or this spring. So definitely stay tuned to that. Follow so you have the latest news. Follow us on Instagram also and TikTok for as long as
As long as it's up, man. As
as
long
long
as
as
it's
this
up.
back up.
Oh,
But yeah.
hey, and shout out to all the Rams fans, Jay, for coming at me. And then the following game shit the bed. But hey, you guys made it. Welcome to the couch. If there's no room, you can sit in the garage with everybody else and watch through the window. But welcome, welcome.
Man, yeah, we lost some good ones this week. And unfortunately the Chiefs carried on. Thank you for spending your time with us. We appreciate you guys tapping in, following, and blessings upon you and your household. Go forth and multiply. Thank you for hopping on and talking freaking Notre Dame, all the sports with us.
We'll be back
As
next
we
year,
do
guys.
every week.
We'll be back next year. Join the bandwagon now before it's too late and I call you out next season.
Shout out to the Irish. Yeah, shout out to you guys. Appreciate you. Go forth. Stay hydrated. Stay blessed. Stay balling. Love and light. Peace. Oh, I almost just stopped the whole thing right there.